Okay. Yeah, the button's on now. I was talking to this thing for like a good 5 minutes and it didn't do anything. It turned off by auto shutdown mode, which good thing it did that when it did, or else I would have literally done this whole thing and not known. Oh boy. Well, I did my usual, I don't know what topic I'm going to do until I press the record button, so I guess we could skip that part, right? I was going to talk about in this little nifty video that I'm actually doing a record button progress on here, how life is short and you have to seize the moments in your life. Now, Chris Rock said, I said this before, I will say it again, I remember what I just said. See that? Not all the way shot. That life is long if you make the wrong decisions. And in a lot of ways he has a good point. But what he means by that is he's not talking about what happens like in certain cases, like if somebody gets an illness, somebody becomes paralyzed, because that happened to my grandfather. For the last 13 and a half years of his life, he was paralyzed after a stroke on his entire right side. So those are unfortunate situations. If you have an illness, that's an unfortunate situation. And that applies to how life can change in an instant like that. But what he's talking about is if somebody's serving life in jail for like their last, what do they call it? Last strike or whatever. Third strike. Like the dude from Baby Boy. Fucking Vin Raines ass motherfucker. Doing life for like trying to kill the Tyrese Gibson dude. I don't even know. What the hell was his name in that movie? I don't even remember now. That is a very good movie though. But, I mean, that's how life would be long if you're sitting there serving life in jail over literally the same exact thing you've been going back and forth to jail for and stuff like that. Only reason I don't show as much compassion for that is because that's stuff that you can obviously change and control. And, that's a different thing altogether. If you don't choose the right career, if you don't keep the right people in your life, that's how life could be long. Just long-term things like that, and the progression of how your personality can be detrimental to others. That's what he meant by if you make the wrong decision. So that part I get. But everybody has had good moments in their life. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Just throw them through your, photo album, whatever it's called nowadays, digital albums and all this, Photoshop, Bridge, go to Bridge if you have it set up that way or whatever it is. iPhoto. And look through the times and appreciate them. I mean, I started doing pictures. I still have physical photo albums. I mean, I know a lot of people still do, even if it is still from digital images. But, I mean, like, I was back when the digital photography wasn't as prevalent. And there were still, for domestic use, it wasn't as common as opposed to for obviously commercial use. I'm sure they had digital photography maybe the 10 years or something before we even knew about it. How the fuck will we even know? They always come out with the stuff like that before they release it to the general public. Just like with all the crazy ass technology they have in the military. They're probably like 50 years ahead with that shit. You know what I mean? But that's just that. But you just go through your photo albums. You just sit there and think for a minute. I've had a moment or two that has been good, right? It's not always been the way it is, and I'm not saying everybody's life is bad or good. I'm just making a suggestion that you kind of count your blessings a little bit sometimes, because you could be so like eyebrows down and just kind of like so like, oh, everything's all fucked up, everything's just, and you can't always live in the past either. That's not what I'm saying, because I've definitely at least tried to kind of be there for a little bit and back and forth. I guess maybe some people kind of go through that, but I kind of took it a little too far sometimes with certain things. So I'm not saying you should live in your past, but sometimes you just sit back and think back of what you've done and all the good stuff and good people, and when they moved away, or you just lose contact with them, or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. you got to think of it, because you weren't always in the present. You existed in another space and time, just like everybody else, just like I did. You weren't just sprout here, just like a friggin' 3 or 4 day grown plant, synthetic plant or something. You know what I mean? You were in the past at one point, and everything that has happened has made you who you are now. And it wasn't just the bad things that made you who you are; it's the good things too. And you have to appreciate the good things, because you don't know how many more good things you're gonna get. I mean, I really don't want to sound like that, but in certain things, like, certain things are not gonna last. Like, a lot of, I could say probably, unless obviously they're very, very tight knit group, but I know for the most part, unless they are really determined to stay friends, a lot of people that even when they leave not grade school, middle school, into going into high school, you lose friends that way, and then you get new friends in high school. Then you try to hold on to your friends in high school if you can, you get new friends, and you're just constantly changing. And then you may be able to stick on to your friends after high school. A lot of them move away. A lot of them go away to college. A lot of people stay around in college or just do other stuff, and you just lose contact. And it's a lot of people that, are in a little bit younger age bracket or whatever. They know what I mean when I say that kind of stuff. And you're gonna lose ties whether you want to or not. I remember one of my old bosses said that oh man, I'll never forget him saying that. He's like, you're gonna lose ties whether you're gonna burn bridges or break ties, whatever how he said it, whether you want to or not. This is how it goes. You can't always go after. It doesn't matter, the girl, boy, whoever it is. If they're not replying back to you or whatever, and what can you do? You're not going to be able to do anything with them. Obviously, they don't want to be your friend anymore, and that's it. But obviously, then things happen, and then bad things happen, and situations get twisted around, and you lose friends and gain different new friends and newer friends and all this kind of stuff. So, by the ability of people, unless, everybody is different. I've definitely lost and gained friends, and reunited with certain friends and all that kind of stuff. But by the fact of you letting newer people and within a few years or whatever of not being in high school or not even being in middle school, we're getting new friends in high school, new friends in college, new friends through the workplace, that shows that you have the ability to still obviously want to be social, obviously, and that you are still, you're still a decent person. There are still some people that are, and I definitely was one of them, that would always have to have people come up to me first and kind of like, not push the friendship, but kind of like, at least initially, and then it's easy with dudes, you just talk about, I remember one of my friends, he was just he saw I wore an Undertaker shirt in 7th grade. He was like, "You like the Undertaker?" I was like, "Yeah." And then, or no, I think that's not what he said. He's like, "Oh, I think he just happened to see my shirt, and Undertaker shirt, because I think it actually was. I saw him and his mom and his little brother or something like that, and I went with my one friend because we had to get our lockers fixed for the 8th graders broke the lockers when they leave to go to high school. That's what happened in our middle school. I don't know what the fuck. I didn't know how to do that. I wasn't trying to, do all that. So, the janitor dude fixed the lockers for us, and, obviously the other kid that ended up being in my section, it's the same person I'm talking about, said, he didn't say anything then, but he was just looking at my shirt, and just kept staring at my shirt. He was just like, alright, I don't even know who the hell this dude is. Because you know how you can, sometimes meet certain people from other schools until you go to, through the rec and all that kind of stuff, rec sports, because we were still too young to play for the actual teams of the sports until that grade. Because I think that was the year I tried out for baseball, but it didn't work out. But yeah, it's another story. That's totally another story, trust me. But yeah, and then I think I seen him first or second day in homeroom or whatever. Because that was back when you had homeroom and all that kind of high school-ish stuff, but it was still all the same people in your section. So it was still kind of a little bit, it's the first step, you know what I mean? to building into going into high school. That's why they call it junior high. So yeah. Anyway, so he just like looked at my shirt. He was like, "Dude, you like wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then that's it. Became best friends like right after that. You know, it's I don't know. It's just how people click sometimes. You know, it just depends on who they are. But you know, then you have different people come in, and you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. It's just cool that you like. I'm not gonna sit here and go through all the good times on here because it's not necessary because everybody has good times that they've had, and you know they don't want to expose the stuff. You know what I mean by good times. But you have to look at it from a perspective too of not just if you sever ties or whatever happens. Oh, man, I have really that's a big one right there. God damn. But that's just the way it is. That's a nasty one though. Yeah, you just gotta enjoy the time. Excuse me. Enjoy the times that you had, and just kind of go from there because that's all you can do. You can't try to like bring people down after if you are not friends with them anymore, and even know how badly certain things can end. You do still have to remember that at one point they were your friend. So trust me, I'm hardly ever the one to even say that at all, and I'm not trying to be like a preacher or anything on here, but I've learned that the less anger you harbor, the better off you are at the end of the day, not anybody else. I mean, because there's always a reason for someone to be mad. You almost don't even need a reason to be mad at anything, not just people, just in general. Like, oh my God, I only got like 2 hours of sleep. I had to fucking be at work in less than a half hour. Like it's just it's a lot easier. Here you go. It's a lot easier to be mad than it is to find some kind of happiness within the day. Because there's always something that's going to get you mad. You ain't going to get around that. So you got to kind of see where I'm going with that. And you do have to appreciate, the good things that have happened. And there will be more good things. You just have to not build toward them. Because if you do build toward them or try to want all those crazy moments to happen, then you are going to be like Chris Rock and have a life that is longer than is shorter. And sitting there waiting for all these good things to happen and all these moments and all this stuff like that. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You just have to roll with it. And it'll come. You just have to know what situation will grant that. And you can't sit there and hope for that to happen, or else, not to say it won't, but you're going to be mad that it doesn't happen fast enough for you. You see? See what I mean? Faster. So, anyway, I hope you guys like this one. I definitely enjoyed doing this little video here. I might do like 1 or 2 more. I don't know. I'm so bored right now. And this, I guess, is my new little hobby, I guess, right? So yeah, rock and roll with that one. Well, I will see you guys when I see you.